What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part, I believe, 6 of my reviewing and ranking Eric Clapton's albums. I've already done Cream. I've already done all of his studio albums, the ones they were just Eric Clapton. And so what I'm going to discuss in this video are the 9 albums in which he was either a member of a band that wasn't Cream, which he collaborated with somebody else, or in which he was like, might have been only the guitar player, might have only sang a song or two, but was like Clapton's DNA as part of what like truly makes like that album. An example of what I am not doing is Roger Waters' Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Clapton is fantastic on that album. I love that album. I think Clapton's guitar playing is one of the highlights of that album. But that is a Roger Waters album. Like, I don't think anybody would ever say that's a Roger Waters / Eric Clapton album. That's clearly a Roger Waters album. Clapton just made it better. And so anything that falls in that area, no. So I think there's 9 albums. I'm going to address them. Yardbirds, Mail, Derek and the Dominos, Blind Faith, collaborations that he did. So all, Delaney and Bonnie. So all those albums are here. If I left something out, let me know. But yeah, there's 9 of them. I'm going to rank them. After I rank them, I'll show you what they look like. Then I will include these 9 in everything else I've done apart from the Cream albums. I'll include those later at some point. But yeah, here we go. Enough hacking. Oh, how did we get here from Frank Zappa? A new one. Bruce Fowler is on one of these albums. I think he's on The Breeze. Yeah, the one that I'm going to talk about first. But there's a Bruce Fowler connection. And Bruce played with Frank. All right, on to number 9. Number 9 is The Breeze, a tribute to J.J. Cale that came out in 2014. The Breeze, an appreciation of J.J. Cale. Bruce Fowler is not on this album, but Don Preston is. So there we go. And Clapton invited a bunch of other artists to like kind of duet with him on this. Tom Petty's on here, John Mayer's on here, Mark Knopfler's on here. Mark Knopfler and Tom Petty, fantastic. Willie Nelson's on here. I'm not sure Willie Nelson's vibing quite. Not sure Mayer vibes. It's a cover of a bunch of Cale songs, mostly. I think there's a couple other songs, maybe one other song that isn't a Cale song. Some of it's good. I think the Petty stuff is good. I think the Mark Knopfler stuff is good. The Mark Knopfler stuff sounds like super chill, like Dire Straits, like solid Brothers in Arms type material. But then there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of bland and just kind of there. What is that? Something fell on the screen. Just kind of a little too tepid, a little too just... not bringing the same inspiration. But there is some good stuff. The opening Call Me the Breeze, which Clapton does, is fantastic. Petty and Clapton's take on I Got the Same Old Blues, I think is pretty fantastic. Everything Knopfler's on, I think is fantastic. An interesting listen. Not the greatest thing, but I can't say it's bad at all. But yeah, I was going to say something else about this. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, interesting little thing. But that's my number 9, The Breeze. Number 8 is TDF's Total Dysfunctional Family, Retail Therapy. And this is an album that Clapton did with Simon Climie, a producer. And it's kind of like maybe parallel to, I think it's in 97 is when it came out, kind of parallel to what Bowie was kind of experimenting with at the time. But I think Bowie was much more successful in going into like jungle beats and drums and bass and that kind of stuff. It's a pretty interesting listen. It's definitely not bad. At its worst, it flirts with like, it's all instrumental. Some of it flirts with like soft jazz, ambient music at times. Clapton's on both the electric guitar and acoustic guitar. Climie's beats are at times, sometimes just sort of there to provide that sort of ambient soft jazz feel, but they're definitely electronic beats. And sometimes things are like hyper crazy. I think the hyper crazy stuff is actually the stuff I think works better. And I wish there had been more of that just like David Bowie full on electronic assault attitude instead of maybe mixing it up with the softer stuff. But it's not bad. I think Clapton has some great playing on here. Some of his acoustic guitar playing is fantastic. His electric stuff just mixed in with the chaos of the electronic noise is pretty fun. Apparently their approach to this album, like There aren't songs written particularly. It was like, I got an idea, I got a beat, let's just sit together and improvise and record stuff. So the whole basis of this is sort of a improvisation basis, but using electronic instruments also and different drum beats. So it's an interesting album. I saw reviews of it online that just bashed it, and I don't see what I. It's not bad, and yeah, it's not the greatest thing, and yeah, Clapton definitely didn't need to make a career out of this, and yeah, he may have been doing what other people were doing first, but hey, man, take chances, have fun, and I think there's some pretty good guitar playing and some interesting moments. At its worst, it's just kind of boring, but at its best, it's kind of engaging and kind of fun. And Clapton's got some good licks and some good playing throughout. So yeah, that'd be number 8, Retail Therapy by TDF. Number 7 is Ride to Escondido, an album Clapton did with J.J. Cale that came out in 2006. Apparently, this was also Billy Preston's last album, and Billy Preston has some pretty good highlights on here. Some nice piano playing in one of the songs. This is really, really good Billy Preston energy. Hard to thrill. Nice, good, chill groove, but Preston comes in with some nice piano on that. And throughout the album. And Bruce Fowler is on this album. I knew it was one of the J.J. Cale albums. This is pretty good. I think it's pretty great. I think Clapton and Cale sound pretty similar vocally, and so I don't think at no point is Cale's presence on this maybe vocally making a difference, but I do think it is just infused with that laid back, groove oriented, at its most upbeat, maybe lay down Sally type energy. But I think it's pretty good. It's a good listen. Couple songs are great. Most of it is good. I don't think any of it's bad. Danger, really nice opening song. Nice laid back Eric Clapton 70s vibe, which, he's all about J.J. Cale in the 70s, so it works perfectly. A lot of this also reminds me of, I've said this before, Cass McCombs. If you like this album and you like that sort of laid back J.J. Cale, you got to check out Cass McCombs. So much of this reminds me of just, he has his vibe, but he puts a little more psych energy into it. And a lot of this reminds me of Cass McCombs stuff. Heads in Georgia is a really cool song. When This War Is Over is a nice anti-war anthem with a really nice, cool, chill groove in it. Dead End Road, we get a straight up country hoedown, fiddle action, bing, 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 just straight up going there. Yeah, really good stuff throughout the entire album. Don't Cry Sister has a really nice, awesome groove. That is a great song. The closing Ride the River is a great closer. Some great guitar playing in there. Really nice sort of, this is more of a river that's just kind of like, yeah, you're picking up some pace, but it's still pretty steady and grooving and chilling. It's a nice ride down this river. Just a solid album from start to finish. If the J.J. Cale vibe is not your thing, maybe you won't enjoy this album. But I think it's a pretty good effort. I enjoy this. Some good highlights sprinkled throughout. But yeah, that would be my number 7, The Road to Escondido. Number 6 is Riding with the King, B.B. King and Eric Clapton. This came out in 2000. I'm always surprised at how much I actually really enjoy this album. B.B. King sings, plays guitar. He's all over this place. It's very much equal, if not maybe even leaning more towards B.B. The B.B. presence is fantastic. It sounds fun. There's a couple songs on here. The opening, Riding with the King, which is kind of cheesy, though it is a John Hyatt song, but John Hyatt could be cheesy at times. And then there's another song, I Wanna Be, which have like maybe we're trying to be on the radio, maybe a little polished blues rock radio type vibe. But then we get like 2 songs that Clapton's been doing for, decades, Key to the Highway and Worried Life Blues. But those are nice and acoustic, so we're mixing it up with some acoustic stuff. We got some slow jams on here. Days of Old is just a straight up party song. We're gonna ball tonight. Hold On, I'm Coming, the cover of the Sam and Dave song, is fantastic. Some absolutely great jammy guitar energy in there. Hold On, I'm Coming. Just fantastic choice of cover songs. Nice 3 o'clock blues. We slow things down and kind of jam. The closing Come Rain or Shine, kind of slowing things down in like a late last call lounge 1:45 in the morning type bluesy vibe. it's a really good album. It's kind of all over the place, but in the best way, but consistent, and it's fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed this album. Some good blues. It's not gritty at all. Like these are two polished blues musicians going into a studio and creating studio blues. It's definitely not nothing too particularly raw about it. But I don't know. It's enjoyable. And that the couple good cover songs, that "Hold On I'm Coming" is fantastic. Kind of ends the album perfectly, I think. And yeah, they mix it up: slow blues, upbeat blues, acoustic blues. Yeah, well done, well done. My number 6, "Riding with the King." Number 5 is 5 Live Yardbirds of 1964. I think this is the Yardbirds' debut album. It is live from a set in March of 1964. You got Clapton, Dreha, McCarty, Ralph, and Samwell Smith on bass, and it's just awesome. Sounds good. Live 1964 early English blues rock. Great song choices. Opening cover of "Too Much Monkey Business." Chuck Berry song is fantastic. You got a "Smokestack Lightning." Got a "Good Morning Little Schoolgirl," which, despite my objections to sexualizing schoolgirls, great reversion. "Respectable" is fantastic. The closing "Here 'Tis" is awesome. We get an "I'm a Man." Just a whole bunch of great songs. Maybe too much harmonica. This is definitely, I would say, more of a harmonica heavy early Yardbirds than Clapton, but every time Clapton steps forward and plays guitar, like you're like, okay, this is why everybody wanted Clapton in their band in the 60s, and you understand where the myth came from, and all that kind of stuff makes perfect sense. But yeah, we need more Clapton on it. He does get one vocal on "Good Morning Little Schoolgirl." But yeah, less harmonica, more guitar, but this is a fantastic album. Fantastic early Yardbirds, fantastic energy, fantastic recording. Yeah, just absolutely, absolutely amazing. Would maybe be higher? Maybe. Nah, the next 4 are pretty good. If there was more Clapton on it, maybe though, just because one of these further on up is on there because there's lots of Clapton on it. But I guess that's the case with all these. So never mind that. My number 5, 5 Live Yardbirds. Number 4 is Blind Faith, the band that the album Blind Faith came out in 1969. The band that Clapton was in with Ginger Baker, Steve Winwood, and Rick Gretsch. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. A pretty perfect album. Like, I think this is absolutely fabulous album. These top 4 albums are just impeccable. I dropped it to 4 for one reason: the 15.5-minute Ginger Baker pin trap. It is a little too overly solo indulgent, and maybe had they cut that maybe in half and dropped a solo or two and maybe added another absolutely amazing rocker and or ballad, this could bump up a spot, maybe to 3. But what we get here is fantastic. "Had to Cry Today," awesome opening blues rocker. "Can't Find My Way Home," beautiful ballad, one of the greatest vocal performances ever. "Well, All Right," really, really fun rock song. "Presence of the Lord," whatever that is, psych gothic weird rock, that just those swells, that guitar break in the middle is just ridiculous. Absolutely fantastic. "Sea of Joy" with this really cool kind of psyche weird, like floaty little midsection that's wonderful. And "Do What You Like" is nice. It just, we don't need everything we get in this, and you can edit it down a little and give us another song, guys, because the ones you give us are fantastic. This is a really, really good album. Really good album. Steve Winwood sounds fantastic vocally. Clapton's playing is brilliant. The drumming, the bass playing, the songwriting, absolutely wonderful album. And every song's a little bit different, like nice and eclectic, like you would expect from like late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, just really, really, really good. Really good rock album. But yeah, there's 3 other really, really good rock albums to come. That's my number 4, Blind Faith. Number 3 is Delaney and Bonnie's On Tour with Eric Clapton, 1970. This single album, 8-song, capturing a bunch of songs from a 1969 performance of Delaney and Bonnie. And it's just, the energy is incredible. It's rock and roll with like Delaney and Bonnie type country southern influences, little boogie feel, just that Delaney and Bonnie vibe. And Clapton's the guitar player. The energy is fantastic. The band is amazing. It's like the Derek and the Dominos band, essentially. It's great. You get a cover of Dave Mason's Only You Know and I Know, just a really nice rockin' version of that. The highlight by far, Coming Home, a Delaney and Bonnie and Clapton original that is absolutely amazing. You get a nice Little Richard medley to close it out. It's all really good. But, and it would be number 3 even if that was it, but about 15 years ago, they released like a deluxe 4 CD box set that I think has like 4 complete shows, if I'm not mistaken, one on each set, one on each disc. And this is absolutely amazing. They way more songs. You get a Give Me Some Lovin'. You get like an opening jam to like warm things up. You get awesome performances of the same songs on that album, but just on different nights, and they all sound spectacular. Yeah, it's really, really good. The 4 CD box set is fantastic. The single CD is fantastic. This is a great album. It's fun, it's rocking, it's infectious. The performances are amazing, and Clapton's on guitar, and he sounds wonderful. Yeah, that is a great, great album. My number 3, On Tour with Eric Clapton, Delaney and Bonnie. Number 2 is Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, John Mayall album. Yeah, this thing is just ridiculous. This thing is just Clapton, this band, the performances, the energy, sounds fantastic. But Clapton's just shredding. Clapton's just going off. I mean, it's just like guitar heaven. It's like, you want to know why Clapton was his... Oh, and John McVie is the bass player, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, I mean, if you want to know why Clapton was so revered and adored and why everybody thought he was great, listen to this. The passion is there, the fire is there, the playing is there, the intensity is there. You got the awesome hits. Hideaway is on here, Stepping Out, 2 instrumentals that got pretty big. Got a early version of Rambling on My Mind. Everything on here is fantastic. I don't even know what to say. Ray Charles is What I'd Say. Opens up with All Your Love is fantastic. Just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It is just English blues rock, fire, intensity. Like, this is evidence number 2, evidence B, not number 1. Number 1 is the first piece of evidence. Second piece of evidence and why Clapton deserves whatever praise he had back in the day as far as a guitar player. Plus, John Mayall's energy is fantastic. The band is fantastic. Yeah, this is a sick album, and it still sounds like I want to see bands play this kind of music today. Play with this intensity, play with this kind of fire, play with this kind of just do this. This timeless music. Yeah. My number 2, Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton. And number 1 is Derek and the Dominos, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. Yes, not assorted other love songs. Eric Clapton, Duane Allman, Whitlock, Rattle, Gordon on drums, Zappa Connection, Galutin on piano, and Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out, Heartache, Drugs, some of the best guitar playing ever, impassioned vocals, a killer rhythm section. Just one of the greatest rock and roll albums, if not the greatest rock. I mean, this has to be a contender. This is one of the greatest things ever. Just brilliant. And opens up with like this almost like pop rock, I Looked Away. It's just like, yeah, we're going to start off with a little like something soft and easy to bring you in, something very Eric Clapton-y, very Eric Clapton 70s to bring you in. Then Bell Bottom Blues, which is like flirting with a little psych energy and that like repeated progression in the way that kind of song develops and unfolds towards the end. Then we just drop an absolute killer rocker and Keep On Growing. Nobody Knows What You're Down and Out. That and Have You Ever Loved a Woman, some of the best slow blues that Clapton has ever played. I Am Yours, kind of getting a little like easing up on the pain for a while. Any Day, another just absolutely blistering rocker. And then we got a nice blues jam and Key to the Highway. And that's just the first half of the double album. Like, we haven't even gotten to Tell the Truth, or Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad, or his cover of Hendrix's Little Wing, or, the title song, Layla, which the riff, the coda, its use in pop culture, everything. And to have that the penultimate song, to recognize that like everything needs to build up to that song, and just the utter like rawness of the vocal and the intensity of the emotions, and to like have that happen for like 3.5 minutes, and then channel that into this like piano coda, just like have the smarts to put those two pieces together and have that like intensity kind of filter its way out. And then the last song, Thorn Tree in the Garden, which is this like little solo acoustic guitar piece that is just like absolutely heartbreak, because there's a thorn tree in the garden. Like, yeah, there's roses, but there's also things that make you bleed. So yeah, it's just, it's a perfect album. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Like personally for me, the first, like, I would say the first 20 seconds of Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad might be the most exhilarating 20 seconds of music ever. That just that the rhythm guitar part coming in, and then the slide comes in, and then the drums drop and they're just off, and Clapton starts soloing, and just ridiculously fantastic. And there's probably 15 other moments like that on here where you're like, but that moment right there, that is just like, yeah, that's my number one, easily. One of the greatest albums ever made. Derek and the Dominos, Layla, and Other Assorted Love Songs. So that's what it looks like right there, those 9 in typewritten form. Yes, that's it. I just talked about them. And then, because the list is so big and I haven't fixed it yet, there is the up through number 10, looks like that. From here, you see that Riding with the King, The Road to Escondido, Retail Therapy are all right there, pretty high up. The Breeze at 23. Don't like the blue stuff at the bottom. Don't like that Christmas album. But that means the top 10 would then look like this. And you have 5 Live Yardbirds at 9, and then Blind Faith, On Tour, Blues Breakers, Derek the Dominos, and number 1 easily. I think 461 Ocean Boulevard is a pretty strong outing. I think the songwriting on that elevates it, and there's a Get Ready, so fantastic. Love that. I have that at 2, though the guitar playing on 3 is much better, and 4. But I like the album aspect of 461. I want to give a solace of some love, and I do like that album. All right. Thanks for watching. That's all I got. Let me know your thoughts on these albums, on those lists, on all those things Eric Clapton related. Thanks for all of you dropping comments on Eric Clapton and sharing your knowledge and love. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and go listen to Derek and the Dominos if you haven't in a while, because it's one of the greatest albums ever made. Peace. Talk to you later.